If you have hooded eyes, odds are that you have given up on trying to make eyeshadow look good at one point or another. Because when you do, it either completely disappears or you can't get your eye to look open because it feels like you don't have a lot of lid space to work with. If you ever want to become better at doing eyeshadow for your hooded eyes, you first need to know the characteristics of a hooded eye, and then you need to make sure that you're not making one of these 4 mistakes that I see a lot of people make. This is why today we're going to chat about hooded eyes, do's and don'ts. And then there is one super important thing that I'm going to mention at the end of this video that you need to know if you want to nail your eyeshadow. Let's chat about the characteristics of a hooded eye. No, really, I turned it into a character. Let's call her Hudera. Don't judge me, I couldn't think of a better name. Now, Hudera is sad because it seems like the skin on her top lid is always covering her bottom lid, which means she can never see the eyeshadow on her eyelids. When applying eyeshadow, it's always like it seems to get worse towards the outer edge. To make matters worse, she remembers having a phone call with her mom who struggles with the same thing, and she says it only got worse with age. Now, if this at all seems familiar, you're going to need to know about these hooded eyes, do's and don'ts. So we're going to chat about 4 common mistakes that I see people making, and I'm going to show you how to correct them. The first mistake I see people make is taking a dark eyeshadow color and then focusing that solely on the lid. This causes 2 things. Because it's a dark colors always create depth on the face. It's going to make the eye sink in further, and that's going to make the eye appear smaller or closed off. The second thing it does is because it's only focused on the lid, when you open your eye, it's going to completely disappear, and all of that eyeshadow that you put on in the first place, you won't be able to see. What I like to do instead is to focus the dark color on the outer part of the lid. I place the color down following 2 diagonal lines like this, and I apply it all the way to where my crease starts. So here comes the important part. When you blend out this eyeshadow, you need to keep your eye open so that you can see that it's actually going above the fold that your eye is creating. This is especially true for this outer part of your eye. I just softly start blending it out while keeping my eye open and looking straight in front of me. This does not mean that you cannot put a dark color over your whole lid, but you're going to need some of the tips that I'm going to mention later in this video if you want your eye to appear more open and not closed off. Now, this next mistake kind of links into the previous mistake. That is applying a crease color but not blending it out high enough. Again, this makes the eye sink in and appear even smaller. You essentially want to create a new crease for yourself. So you remember I said that dark colors always create depth on the face. Now, because your fold is covering your eye, you can't see that depth on your eye. So you need to create a new depth for yourself. So you would apply that crease color just above your crease. At first, you can just put down the color, and then when the color is down there, you're going to start blending it out. So you're always going to blend upwards and a little bit outwards. Upwards is going to open the eye, and outwards is going to lift the eye. You can bring that color a little bit inward if you want to create more of a crease for yourself. Already you can see the difference between the two. By the way, if you're new here, because let's be real, I'm also still new here, that is my first ever YouTube video. I'm Zandi, and I help makeup lovers become more confident in makeup. So if that's something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Okay, asking for subs is so weird, but the other day, my husband was watching my first ever YouTube video, and he was like, "Why aren't you asking people to subscribe?" And I was like, "Isn't that weird?" So there you go, lovey, I did it. The next mistake that I see people make is that they know that they should apply a highlight color in the inner corner of their eye, but when they do it, they focus it too low down. So the whole point of applying a highlight color is to create contrast with the dark color. When it's too low down, you won't be able to see it because once again, most of the eye is going to be covering that highlight color. So when you're applying a highlight color, really try and focus on bringing that color high up over the fold. The next mistake is a super important one, and one that I don't see a lot of people talking about. This little fold over here creates a shadow down here. Now, when you go to apply your eyeshadow and you're not sure where to stop your eyeshadow, you apply it too far out. So let's just extend this a little bit further. Now it creates even more of a shadow over here, and that droops the eye down so much. The best way to overcome this is to create an upwards angle. As you can see, I've already created an upward angle with this eye. Usually I do this by following the waterline. So I create an upward angle following that waterline. If you're struggling to see what that angle should be, I suggest using a piece of paper, a piece of tape, or anything that's straight just to get that angle upwards. What that does is it instantly lifts the eye, and now you've created a new darkest space. That is going to be right here where this line is, and that is just going to be a complete game changer. You can see how this eye totally droops down and this eye opens and lifts. Do you see the difference? If you want to nail your eyeshadow though, you need to know that your eye probably has a few different eye shapes combined. So if you want to learn about different eye shapes and how to use techniques to really enhance the eyeshadow on your eye, let me know down in the comments below, because if this is something that you really want to see, then I would love to create some content around that for you, because this channel is all about helping you reach your potential with makeup. Or if there's any other topic that you want me to chat about, also let me know down below. In the meantime, you can click here because I have a few short videos that shows different techniques for different eye shapes.